Welcome, everybody, to Really San Francisco. I, of course, am with my co host, Richie Greenberg. Hey, Richie.
Hey, how's it going, Erica? Beautiful day today here in the city by the bay, isn't it?
Absolutely lovely. I've got family members here, taking them all
Mhm.
around. It's stunning. But Richie, I want to ask you something.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever had any of those fruit cups from the stands that you see popping up all over San Francisco, especially in tourist areas?
To be totally honest, the food distribution carts, they rolled up hot dogs,
Mhm.
um, the cut fruit. Honestly, I cannot remember if I've ever had from any of them ever here in San Francisco. I
Yeah.
think I've just always said no.
Yeah, I've always said no too. And I'm wondering if you and I have the same reason for saying no. We're going to talk about that today because this is in the news.
Hmm.
The person who is running as a Democrat for the governor of
Governor.
California, uh, Javier Becerra,
Hmm.
made some pretty radical statements the other day. And it rattled a lot of cages. And here's why. He actively promoted, don't go to a legitimate restaurant for your Mexican food. Instead, make your way over to one of the food carts, right?
Hmm.
Little carts that are set up on street corners
Hmm.
and in tourist areas and outside of nightclubs, outside of restaurants, and buy from them instead because it's better, it's more authentic. You're doing a good thing.
Yep.
Blew
So
up.
it blew
It
up. So
blew
this
up.
was this was last week, July 15th,
Mhm.
where he was speaking to in downtown Los Angeles to the organization, the National Association of Latino Elected and Appointed Officials. There was a conference in LA. So he said that, and I think it was actually in response to a video that his opponent, that is running for governor of California, Steve Hilton walked into a Del Taco down in Southern California. That's like a Taco Bell at Del Taco, which I actually preferred over Taco Bell for a while. It was a long time ago. So Steve Hilton ate it, made a video of it, and said, "Oh, this is great Mexican food," and that was what I think triggered this, where Becerra had to respond and said, he was trying to say, "No, that is not real, legit Mexican street food. You can go and go to a street cart, a stand on any corner in certain neighborhoods and get your legit Mexican tacos there." So then he expanded on that, and that's what caused the uproar, the two.
I'm sure it
Yeah, he
did.
did.
I'm sure
So
it did.
it's really interesting why this is such a hot topic in the last couple of days. It blew up on social media. It was covered in the news, his clips. And I think that you and I have slightly different perspectives on this, but I think that in the end of our podcast episode today, we're gonna converge on this. So, how about what you outline? What are your gripes and
No,
observations?
no, 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 no.
No.
Before we get into that, we're going to have to address what on earth are you in front of today?
Oh, okay.
For the
Oh, you mean you would?
listeners,
Okay,
you
okay,
can't
yeah,
see it, but
yeah.
Richie has a very interesting background
Yeah, so
today.
behind me, yeah.
Hmm.
So I often use a virtual background. Like your background today is blurred. So
Right.
wherever you are is just blurred.
Hmm.
I usually have a TV studio with monitors and all of that, and or just the room I'm in. So I get fascinated by things that I see that pop as I'm visiting, like a nice like a Grand Canyon or look or some buildings or a nice alleyway, and I photograph it. So the other day I was in one of the local San Francisco eateries, Papalote, and I happened to pop in to the restroom, and I was just all of the graffiti, and so this is the graffiti on the walls in Papalote. So it's
It's
kind of a
quite
fun.
beautiful
It's
and it's
actually
it's very
beautiful graffiti.
colorful. Hmm.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
It's very it's very authentic.
It is, and Papalote actually has a couple of different locations, and their salsa is, they actually sell it at
Mm-hmm.
a lot of grocery stores.
Yep.
Okay, so aside from that,
Okay.
you go to independent Mexican restaurants, as do
Mhm.
I, who hasn't been in San Francisco to La Taqueria and wherever you Pancho Villa, wherever it is that you want it, what your favorite spot is, you go. These are legitimate businesses. They have um, a storefront, they have workers, and
They have rent,
they have
rent
rent.
and leases. Yep.
That's right. And it is exceptionally difficult to run a business, actually to start,
Hmm.
operate, and continue a
Hmm.
business in San
Especially, yeah,
Francisco.
San Francisco, notoriously difficult.
Absolutely. And so I actually reached out to Lieutenant Governor Wannabe. She's a candidate for Lieutenant Governor who's running with Steve Hilton. Her name is Gloria Romero,
Yep.
my old former women's studies
Professor, right?
professor,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
which
So
is
you know her. Yeah.
hysterical. Yeah, we go way
Yep.
back. So
Yep.
she's amazing. I really
Hmm.
really loved her as a professor, and I'm
Hmm.
fascinated now that she's running as lieutenant governor. But I did reach out to her, and of course Gloria Romero. She is Latina,
Hmm.
so the woman understands Mexican food and the
And,
issue
and
at large
and California. She
in
understands
California.
California, the laws as well.
So
So that
I
it's a great
yes.
person to talk to from both aspects. Yeah.
Completely. And
Yeah.
so before I go into my opinion, I reached out to her and I said, "So what's the problem here, Gloria? What
Hmm.
is there?" And she said, "Boy, let me tell you." So let's go through Richie. We could do
Yeah,
a
we
couple
got a
at a
copy of
time if
it
you
too.
want.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Yeah.
read through some of the costs and hurdles that a legitimate business owner, restaurant owner, needs to go through in order to open up a business?
So yeah, she wrote a whole long 2-page argument about why she disagrees with Javier Becerra. So that's
Mhm.
it's good. It's a really good perspective, and you can address that. But let's look. It says here, it's not free market competition here,
No.
where you have a rogue fly-by-night operation, even though that they may, come back to the same area, the same street corner, day after day. It's not that kind of, it's unfair. So, so you've got when you want to set up a business, when you not just restaurant, but any business in
Mhm.
California, in America, in California, in San Francisco, but specifically restaurants because they're handling food and you have to deal with the health and of the patrons. So here's what Gloria brought up, and I'm sure that you and I would have come up with this as well. Rent, right? A restaurant has to pay for rent, property taxes, um, building out a kitchen, the cost of all the equipment and labor to have a kitchen built into the new location. Fire code compliance. So there has to be exhaust hoods and emergency fire suppression in case that something goes up. ADA compliance for people that have disabilities to be able to get in. Commercial utilities, meaning the gas, electricity, and water. Health inspections periodically and at the beginning, right? For all the food and food handling and handlers have to go through a program. Business licenses, of course. Workers' compensation. So any of the payroll, the people who are being employed there, have to be paid on the books as an employee with W-2 payroll expenses and all the taxes that are related to payroll. And then workers' compensation and other insurances, liability insurance in case anyone gets injured, slip or fall on the premises, uh, and sick leave if the employees are accumulating sick leave, sales tax collection, and then just all the food that you have to buy.
Right.
You've got to
They
buy the
operate on
food.
very slim margins. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. And
Hmm.
let's talk about the workers, the
Yeah.
people who are the laborers, the people who make these restaurants run and hum. They have to be treated with respect. They have to have fair labor standards. In one of these food cart operations, there's nobody there saying, "Okay, it's time for your break." They're
Hmm.
not contributing to a 401k or a 403b. Um, th- how do we know? Sometimes people bring their children with them, and what's going on with that? I could Okay, let me ask you this, Richie, because to me, I hear this a lot, and I'm just like, oh gosh, okay, well, this is not that important to me, but maybe it's important to you. Is the food itself? Is it
Hmm.
safe? Obviously, with a
Where'd it come
place,
from?
where does it come from? How is it being stored? What about all those temperatures that you have to adhere to?
Refrigeration,
That's
yeah,
right.
and heating to a certain.
Expiration dates,
Hmm.
yeah, heating food to a certain temperature when you're cooking it, you name it, it is,
Out the
it is,
window. All of the
it is out
regulations
the
just out
window.
the window. Now,
Absolutely. I say buyer beware. You want to eat
mhm,
a hot dog that's wrapped in bacon that is moldy? I
mhm,
kind of think that's a risk that you take. But what
mhm.
upsets me is this. When they start siphoning business away from legitimate businesses that do have all of these costs,
That whole
all of these
list.
regulations that are
Hmm.
for the benefit of the public,
Hmm.
right? It's a good thing. These are good regulations. Not maybe not all of them. Who knows? Maybe we should do away with half of the taxes and the fees and whatnot. But that's a
It's
different.
good. These are good regulations and good rules and
Mhm.
requirements. It's not just
That's
a
right.
regulation, don't do this, don't do that, but it's also, yes, do this. Yes, pay the workers a proper wage. Yes, insure them. Yes, ensure that the food where your product is coming from is safe. Yes, be sure that it is stored properly, that it is not spoiled, because you don't want to have anyone from the public get sick. So these are all
Mhm.
not really negative things. These are positive things to protect everyone involved with the business.
That's right. So when Basara pompously said, "Don't go there, go here,"
Hmm.
what is it that you're saying here?
Total buffoon. He's a
Total buffoon.
total
You are
buffoon.
literally saying, don't go to a business that is
Hmm.
regulated, treats workers fairly. You care about workers? Well, my gosh, the people who are on the street at those carts are out all manners of the night. I
Hmm.
don't know how long they've stood out there in the rain, the
With
cold,
little lights, little
with
headlamps and
little
stuff. I've
lights.
seen them. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes the competition between them is so fierce, they're not getting any business. They're because there's 10 of them in a row. And
Hmm.
if you've been to like a game at maybe you went to a Giants game, you'll
Yep.
see them. They're all in a row, right?
Hmm.
So they could be standing out there without selling a hot dog more than once an hour because there's
Hmm.
so many of them.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, you've got other businesses that are literally right there that are really struggling.
That's
So
right.
it is not okay. And I think he put his foot in his mouth
Hmm.
and he's suffering the damage, the PR
Hmm.
damage from that because
Hmm.
people are angry,
That should be.
legitimately
Yep.
so. Mhm.
Yep. Yep. Should we delve into, though, one of the reasons that they're there in the first place,
Definitely.
right? Why
Definitely.
are these food cart vendors unlicensed or rogue or fly by night or unregulated, whatever word you want to use to
Right.
describe this? Why are they there in the first place? How can they be there? And how come Department of Health or others would think the police, how come they haven't been like either arrested, taken away, seized, anything like that?
Yeah.
And
So I'll start with one point. You can please, I'd like you to take up
okay,
the other. And
yep,
point one is that these are not lemonade stand that some little kids got together and they whipped up some lemonade and made some cookies and they set up a table.
mhm,
That's independent. It's well, they've done it on their own. They can pull away at any time.
yep,
These food carts, they are run by cartels and it's very
mhm,
dangerous people. So they end up either they're paying off their fee to get into the country that they've been trafficked into the country and
mhm,
they're made to work out there. They have to. They got to
mhm,
stand out there and they're essentially paying their dues in
mhm,
order to participate. These are not always willing participants in this. Cartels are no fun. These are
mhm,
very, very dangerous, very violent people, and who I certainly would never if people knew that the hot dog that they're buying is enabling the kind of violence that these people are actually running away from, I don't think
Hmm.
that they would sell too many hot dogs after that. So it's really, really important to know what's going on. Just question, take a look around you. Look, why are they all exactly the same? This
Hmm.
is not an
The carts, the
independent. The
design, the
carts are
colors, the size, the
exactly,
model.
the
Yep.
food is the same, the carts
Yep.
are the same, the everything, the pricing is the same. It's the same. These are not independent. These are all part of a network, and that
Hmm.
network is
Hmm.
dangerous people,
Yeah.
right?
So that hits on a even larger existential issue here. And in preparing for our chat today, I did a little bit of research, the background of this whole phenomenon, and why is it even here? Why does it even exist? And so I didn't know this. Believe it or not, I didn't know this. And there's someone there that's in the area there
My
that's
mom
around. Oh,
just
your
walked into the
mom.
room.
Oh,
Hi, mom. I'm doing a podcast right now.
oh,
Who
that's
got
funny.
pregnant? Hey, my
Oh
mom
no,
just asked who got pregnant. I'm
no,
working.
podcast.
Sorry. I got cold
Wow,
again. I was
that's
gonna
that's
get the sweater back on today.
okay. That's unexpected. How to go down the rabbit hole there, literally. Okay, so preparing for today, and I did some research, and I didn't know this because it's not an issue that I paid a lot of attention to, and I don't know if you knew this, but there are two specific California laws that were created in Sacramento. One of them was in 2018, another one 2025, which just came into effect earlier this year, 2026. And there's the Safe Sidewalk Vending Act and the Street Vendor Business Protection Act.
Mhm.
So, what these two things do is it removes a lot of the registration and inspection requirements of these rogue fly-by-night food cart vendor
Mhm.
enterprises. So the state has actually deregulated them. And I believe it was mostly as a result of the immigration crackdowns by the federal government. So in the past, and even now, any of these restaurants, these brick and mortar businesses that want to start up, right?
Mhm.
The legitimate, restaurant shops and cafes, with all those expenses that we talked about, that we listed, and the registrations and the licensure and the inspections, and there has to be people's names on everything. Well, so if one is a uh, illegal alien, someone who's an undocumented immigrant here, they're afraid and won't want to get involved with any of these kind of registration businesses because they don't
Right.
want to expose themselves and get caught and then say, okay, well, now we know where this person lives, we know all the information, who they are, we've got everything. So these laws that came down from Sacramento, they removed, and they do not require to know about citizenship or immigration status anymore. They don't need to have fingerprinting or background checks to get a permit. And vendor data is not freely exchanged with immigration or elsewhere for law enforcement. So, in a sense, so that is one of the problems here is that this continues now and what Javier Becerra was saying, to now focus on, you should go and buy from these guys. You're actually supporting not only, as you said, cartels and other nefarious enterprises to try and get these individuals to pay back whatever services that they had obtained to get here, but they're actually being protected by the government of California, so that way they are not found out. So this is a another whole reason, another whole issue that
Mhm.
we really have to focus on this and see what's is this really what's best for us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it's such an important point is that is it shielding people from a crackdown on their immigration status. I don't even want to address that. To me, that's I like to focus
It
on San
should,
Francisco.
yes, I
Yeah,
agree, but it's shielding, but it's also excusing them. It's taking them out of the normal process of running a business, especially a
right,
food establishment, and it's creating a carve out niche for them, saying
right.
because you're, I mean, and this is what you can extrapolate from it. Because you're not here legally, right? You don't worry about it. You don't have to get the fingerprinting. You don't have to do any of this stuff that a legitimate, very expensive, very, you know, everything has to be done by the permissions and inspections. Don't worry about it. We're giving you a special place that you can somehow try and make some money, and you're excused from everything else that you're supposed to be doing.
And there is something positive about that. I have to say, like, I love free enterprise. I adore it. I would
Mm.
never, ever want to discourage somebody from starting a business, a micro business, right? These are
Hmm.
really, really tiny, right? If you want to go out, you and I were talking a while back actually about the creme brulee cart,
Yes,
right?
yes, that was that guy Curtis. That was you
Yeah,
15 years
yeah.
ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, but there are
Uh,
pathways, there are ways to do these micro businesses
mhm.
without uh, without being bombarded with the excess fees and regulation. The food trucks are a great example. There's a reason there
Exactly.
are so many food trucks. They're inexpensive. They're relatively easy to set up as a business. You
Hmm.
just have a great idea and kind of go through a few hoops, and you could probably do it. So there are ways you can legitimize your business, and I think that it's a good idea. I really do. I would never. I just don't want to ever say, "Oh, don't follow your dream of making a grilled cheese sandwich cart." Or in my, I always wanted to
I
do
think that
bread and
exists.
butter. I like
Yeah,
bread and butter. Who doesn't like bread and butter? Okay,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
the problem is that this is not that. So
yeah.
let's not conflate, right? You
Because a
have
food cart, a food cart and a food truck
right,
are very different. Because even the food truck still has to have an inspection, still has to have, there's regulation. You can't just line up 10 food
right,
trucks in front of an existing business. There's still regulations.
exactly,
There's still
exactly.
regulations.
Right, and there's a reason for that, and I
Hmm.
think that's it's an important distinction. Um, Now, what I absolutely love is there's some great examples here in San Francisco of the street taking care of the situation. There was a while, probably about 2 years ago, a kebab pop up started on Polk Street.
Okay.
And
I don't
boy, I
remember
tell
that.
you, they had a canopy, they put tables and chairs outside. It was on Polk Street.
Hmm.
They had the
Okay.
full barbecue thing and then whatnot.
It's ringing a
Zero,
bell.
they
Yeah.
they had nothing in terms of
Yeah.
a business license. It was a couple of guys who were
Inspection,
doing it.
nothing. Yeah.
Inspections, yeah.
I remember.
Um, Now it took care of itself because the neighboring restaurants were said absolutely not, and they all got together and they ran it out of town because it was
Yeah.
they were definitely undercutting the
Hmm.
price of because there were
Hmm.
kebab restaurants there already.
Yeah.
Right. So if this guy's selling his kebab for $5 and they have to sell it for $12 because of all the upfront costs, the associated
Hmm.
fees and whatnot, paying their workers,
Yep.
um, yeah, it's a problem.
Hmm.
Even if that is delicious, even if it's not moldy, whatever, they're not gonna want it
Just
there.
the mold
And
off
they
of it.
have
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
right to stomp out and say,
Hmm.
pick up your canopy and get out of town. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what I would like to see more of, which is restaurants saying, look, it's not okay. Look at
Yeah.
all these things. We are treating our workers with respect and we're paying them appropriately and we're paying for their health care, right?
Hmm.
We've got all of that, all these things that San Franciscans say that we want. If you
They
want
got it.
that,
Yeah.
then you don't want this,
That's
right?
right.
So sorry,
So
Basara.
Becerra, yeah, we both agree on this. Two thumbs down from each of us. That's four thumbs total. And your mom
Definitely.
is there in
Yeah,
the,
my mom.
so her thumbs down too. So that's six thumbs down, Mr. Becerra.
For everybody out there, my mom did wander in, but she just woke up from a nap. She's in from San Diego right now, so
Uh,
we had a big day.
uh, uh,
Sorry for the interruption, but it's great to have her here. And boy, do we go out a lot when she's here too. So, but we
that's
don't go to
nice.
the food carts.
That's
Thank you
right. No,
so much,
no,
everybody. We want to hear from you, right,
we
Richie?
do. We
Do
do.
you go to these food carts?
Hmm.
Why?
Yep.
Right. And it's fine. This is actually no, as far as I'm concerned, that's a
No
judgment. That's
judgment.
something.
Yep.
No,
No
no,
judgment.
no,
We're
no.
just wondering statistically how many of
That's
you
right.
would eat at food cart
So tell us.
these kind of food carts, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
So thank you, Erica, for another wonderful discussion as always. And as you say, we encourage the public to contact us, podcast at reallysfnews.com, or you can get in touch with each of us on Twitter, on X. You're Erica J. Sandberg, and I am Greenberg Nation. And we look forward to the next fun, exciting topic here on Really San Francisco.
Thank
Thank you
you
much.
so much for joining us. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.